Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
The New York Islanders acquired a top-5 defenseman in Alexander Romanov, a 22-year-old, from the Montreal Canadiens back on July 7th for the number 13 pick in this year's NHL draft, like from last month. Romanov, emerging defenseman Noah Dobson, and forward Kiefer Bellows all signed new contracts with the Islanders on August 22nd. Center Brock Nelson is back after scoring a career-high 37 goals. Captain Anders Lee scored 28 goals in 76 games after he had ACL surgery in March of 2021, if you recall. And here's one for you, Darren. The Islanders tied with the Sabres for 22nd in the NHL for goals scored last year. They struggled on offense at 2.79 goals per game. But defensively, they were second best in the NHL in goals against. Second only to the Boston Bruins at 2.56. So, a big reason for that is the goaltending tandem of Ilya Sorokin and Semyon Varlamov. 5 solid defensemen, all under the age of 29. And the aforementioned moves at forward will put the Islanders, they hope, back into the playoffs for after missing for the first time since 2018.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
What's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? And I tweeted the options: BC, Saskatchewan, XFL, or other. Still leading the way is other. Can you people tell me where other is? Because I have no idea where he would go other than Saskatchewan, BC, or the XFL and his hometown, Houston Roughnecks.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. It's episode number 830 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. Sports and entertainment, because we're going to get into the movie talk here coming up in the warm-up. Very big day. We've got breaking news to get to, which we will here in the warm-up. We've got NFL guests on the program from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati, Mo Egger. So all you viewers in the state of Ohio where you're watching on Buckeye Cable Systems, tune in for Mo. He's coming up later on. And also from SiriusXM NFL Radio, Zig Fracassi. And as usual, we have your usual 3 staples that we'll be talking about on the program: National Hockey League, National Football League, Canadian Football League, and a few other things as we welcome in from Lake Country. This guy's popping up all over the place. You never know where you're going to find him. The Moose, Darren DuPont. How you doing today, Moose? How's the weekend?
Weekend has been fantastic, Rod. Yeah, it's been awesome. Got a chance to get up here and play a little golf and enjoy a little bit of the northern hospitality. So I hope your weekend was good too.
Yeah, well, I hope it's as beautiful as it looks over your shoulder there, and it certainly is. Same thing here in South Florida. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan, and we'll get into it. Speaking of weekends, I almost feel like, because most of my weekends are very exciting, that we should reprise the photo album, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to get to Sunday's NFL games in a second, but it was pretty exciting, Moose. You saw my story. For anybody that isn't following on Instagram, Rod Pedersen Official, also the Rod Pedersen Show. I went to the Dolphins and the Eagles on Saturday night, and it's an interesting story. You saw it. I ended up with players' families and Super Bowl champions in a luxury suite, and I felt like I was in an episode of Ballers. I really did. And we'll get to that as we go. But I want to say, you never know how things are going to go. I said last week, I can't fib any of you, I bought the ticket, okay? I bought the ticket by accident. I thought the cheapest ticket for this NFL preseason game was $200 because that's what came up on Ticketmaster. Turns out it was in a suite. So let me just say this, Moose. I get into the suite, and all of a sudden, I was in there 90 minutes before the game. All these people came in, and they just welcomed me. They were very nice. And about halfway through the game, they said, we own this suite, but we put the unused tickets on Ticketmaster, and only one was sold. That was obviously you. And I'm like, that was me. Well, by the end of the game, these guys were a bunch of ballers, guys and gals. They said, listen, and I swear on my mother's grave that they said, dude, you're so cool. Because we talked throughout the game. You paid for your ticket for this game, but next game we'd like you to come for free and just hang out with us. Would you do that? And I'm like, for real? And they said, absolutely. So that's pretty cool, man. And went to the movies, too, which is coming up in our Quick Six show topics. But I don't know how these things happen, Darren. How do these things happen?
I don't know. You got into the luxury suite at the Dolphins game last year, and then you just happen. You know what? I really believe that if you do things with good intentions for the right reasons, good things happen. And, you just go to the game, you're in the luxury suite, and all of a sudden you meet some cool people and put yourself out there. So it looked cool on social media, and I know it was even cooler in person.
It was a lot of fun. Very blessed and grateful for sure. Now to my first point, which is NFL Sunday scores, and this is interesting. New York Jets fourth-string quarterback Chris Streveler led his third straight fourth-quarter drive for the NFL's New York Jets. It was their third straight preseason win and a 31-27 victory over the crosstown Giants. Chris Streveler, the Super Bowl champion with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, marched the Jets down the field in the waning moments of the game. This is a recording. And found a wide-open Calvin Jackson Jr. for the go-ahead 5-yard touchdown with 22 seconds left. This is funny. Well, this part isn't funny. Streveler, former CFL quarterback, as I mentioned, who's had 3 prior NFL stints, went 10 of 13 for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think we've all seen the video of the Jets coach, Robert Saleh. I can never say it right, but you know who I mean. Giving the game ball to Streveler and shouting him out after every game. At what point does he move up past fourth-string quarterback and maybe at least number 2? I didn't think Chris Streveler had it in him, but here we are for a third straight Monday talking about Strevy.
Hey, we are. It's insane. This has become one of the coolest NFL stories of the entire preseason. Not even a Canadian interest story now. This is great. And I saw the video. He's like, and with that, Streveler, and everybody goes crazy. It is so cool the way he's captured that locker room and captured a little bit of the media attention. And our biggest concern with Chris Streveler was, can he throw the football, right? I mean, They used him in the Grey Cup, and he ran, and it was never a threat. It was a shock when he threw a pass in the Grey Cup game, but here he is with a high completion percentage. He's moving the ball with efficiency, using his legs. Perhaps he's just in the right situation where he's having success, and I wish him nothing but more.
I could talk for 2 hours about Chris Streveler, and if anybody read my Weekend 10 Things column where I said, don't be part of the yeah, but crowd. Yeah, but Saskatchewan won, but they beat the third-string quarterback. Yeah, but Canada won the gold medal, but they wouldn't have if it wasn't for Mason McTavish. I was that guy. I'll say it. 3 years ago when Streveler was the rookie in the CFL, yeah, he led the Big Sky Conference with South Dakota in passing, the whole league. The whole conference. Yeah, but it was the Big Sky Conference. I was in that crowd, which I hate them. So he's telling everybody, including me, to zip it. So you go, Strevy. You show the world. And he continues. And the final preseason game of the year was in Pittsburgh, the NFL preseason game. Mitch Trubisky staked his claim to take over for the retired Ben Roethlisberger, throwing for 160 yards and a touchdown as the Pittsburgh Steelers eased past Detroit 19-9 in the preseason finale. By the way, we've got a lot to get to here today in the warm-up. We got 40 minutes to do it before Mo Egger joins us. But I just want to say, what out of the National Football League caught your eye? Because, again, at the Dolphins game, the very first I was in my seat 90 minutes before the game. I went to the game 3 hours before kickoff, and thank God I did, because traffic is a nightmare. You people in Canada, particularly CFL fans, don't understand how lucky you have it. There was an announced crowd of 68,000 people there. My guess was about 40 to 45,000. Half full. And it takes a long time to get in and out of the stadium. But anyways, I was in my seat when I saw Tua launch a 51-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. 51 yards. They're still showing it all over the highlights. I was so happy to be there. What caught your eye of the weekend in the National Football League?
That did for sure. I mean, that was a statement. You wondered about Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa getting on the same page. And if they are, I mean, that's dangerous. And Miami's one of those teams that's going to jump off the page and take big steps forward. In Tennessee, Malik Willis, the backup, we're trying to win the backup job behind Ryan Tannehill, busts off a 50-yard run and then, a big pass to Treylon Burks. So he's showing, some dynamic playmaking ability, that dual run pass threat option. And then, in Seattle, Geno Smith being named the starting quarterback over Drew Lock in Seattle. So those are three big storylines that I was kind of following throughout the weekend.
All right. Hey, are we we lost contact for a second, but I think we're okay, right? We're going to continue? Yeah, my bad. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there. Moving on. Well, first of all, Edo Japan. Edo Japan, delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. I'll tell the viewers, be paying attention, everybody, because we have some gifts to be giving away from Edo Japan in the weeks ahead. They've been just so good to us, and they continue to be better and better to us as the weeks go along. Edo Japan. Number two, because we're going to get to the CFL stuff and NHL stuff too, but number two, Tom Brady was named the NFL's #1 player by a player vote for the annual NFL Network poll, which I think goes back to 2012 when they started doing it. I'm wondering, I'm going to ask you, Darren, if that is as much a popularity contest as anything. Number one was Tom Brady. Number two, Aaron Donald, the LA Rams D lineman. Number three, Aaron Rodgers, whom we all know. Number four, Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. And number five, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. Do you think the players actually believe Brady's the best player in the National Football League, or they voted for him because he's Tom Brady and he's chasing an 8th Super Bowl ring this year? At 45 years of age, do they really believe he's the best player in the NFL?
I think it's a little column A, little column B. I think, I don't know if they believe he's the best player in the NFL. At 45 years old, I think realistically, he's probably not the best. But I think, he's got the respect of the players, and they'll still give him that respect tag. And I think you don't want to be the guy who votes for Tom Brady as the 10th best player in the league, because he's going to come after you, your family, your team, and everybody else and, go for blood. But there was some of that going on. Russell Wilson, who I think is not the most popular player around the NFL. And you hear the narrative that, his happy-go-lucky, the faith, the real positive all the time is a little cheesy and a little bit, not quite authentic. So I don't think he's the most popular player. So he's not nearly as highly ranked as he should be in the NFL's top 100. So you do see a little bit of that. It's interesting when the players vote.
Well, that is the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center with dealerships all across the prairies. Capital, who is, based on the NFL Network's top 100 poll, the top player in the NFL that you would vote for? We used their top three: Tom Brady, Aaron Donald, Aaron Rodgers, or other. And the last I had a look at the Twitter results, running away with it, Tom Edward Brady, which I love. But if you saw him at the podium this weekend after their preseason game against the Colts, Tom still didn't want to talk about the fact that he was away from training camp for 11 days. The analysts on ESPN this morning, if you watched it, Get Up, said it's none of our business why Tom went away for 11 days, which I thought is, wow, that's awesome for those guys to say that. And by the way, I saw Jeff Darlington, NFL insider on ESPN, saying there is no truth to the rumor that he took 11 days off to appear on The Masked Singer. There's no truth to that. So it's nice to see that people are respecting Tom's privacy. But if you saw the quote, he said, I'm 45 years old. Anybody that's, in this age bracket, we got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in my life. I know how to play football. Wasn't that hard to pick up. So way to go, Tom. He's sticking to his guns. I love it. By the way, to the viewers here, Winnipeg, they are alive and well. David in Winnipeg, the Strevolution won all preseason games. Tacona Powley in Winnipeg says, Rod, Strevy's not telling us in Winnipeg to zip it. Some of us knew his talent and value. Yeah, for the whole 6 months he was there, Tacona. You need to zip it. You don't even know him. Come on. He was barely there. He was there for a cup of coffee. Arlen Bruce III writes that he says, I was in a luxury suite at the Lions game. Very exciting. Hey, Rod and Moose, let's get a box suite at the Grey Cup this year and show the fans how to have a good time during the game. I'm in. That's from AB3.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. Our COO, I know, was watching from Calgary this morning. Let's make it happen at the Grey Cup. I'm getting a lot of messages. Are you going to be here for Grey Cup? I will be in the rectangle for the Grey Cup with this show, so let's have fun with it. And people writing in about the Rider game on Friday, which we will get to. Where are we at for time? Oh, we got time. But I'm going to tell you, bring the thrill of the track to your fingertips with Woodbine's Dark Horse Bets app. Its AI-powered insights and strategies help you make smarter bets straight out of the gate. Feel the excitement of live stream horse races wherever you go. Download the app for free at playdarkhorse.com. Available for Android and Apple devices. I thought my next point was going to be the movies and the movie Bullet Train, but it's not. My third point is the CFL Week 12. So this is perfect because it's going to hook everybody to stick in for the next segment. So here are, the breaking news, by the way, breaking news from the CFL on this Monday is that Gary Stern has stepped back from day-to-day operations of the Montreal Alouettes. You saw it, obviously, Darren. I think we might have talked about it earlier. It was TSN, as always, the CFL's unofficial public relations arm that made the announcement or broke the story. Dave Naylor did. And it doesn't seem like anybody really understands what's going on there, because I see people saying on Twitter, he's stepping down because there's a problem with the estate of his business partner, Sid Spiegel, so he's just leaving the Alouettes altogether. He's the owner, but he's called the CEO as well, but he lives in Toronto. We're talking about the Montreal Alouettes. So if he's involved in the day-to-day of a team and he doesn't even live in the same city, you think there might be some problems? And in the TSN story with Naylor, he quoted a source close to Gary Stern saying this isn't what he signed up for. So what's your initial read on the fact that Gary Stern... And he's deactivated his Twitter account, by the way, which I have issues with that I'll get to. But what's your initial read on Gary Stern walking away from the Alouettes because TSN's reporting they now need to find a new owner?
Yeah, it's very abrupt and very weird, and the timing of it is extremely odd. He was tweeting throughout the weekend, talking about spending time with Pinball Clemens and everything else that was happening in his life, and very involved, it seemed like, with the team through the weekend. So it seems very abrupt. It seemed like this all happened suddenly, and for it not to be a transition throughout the season and then cleanly wrap things up at the end of the season. I mean, we're already almost here into September, right? And the Grey Cup's in November. Like, we're almost into the home stretch here. Like, we're not that far away from the end of the season in the grand scheme of things. So it seems very odd and abrupt, and there's got to be more to the story.
Sure. And to me, this is the way I look at it. And I'm saying, if I'm being honest, which is what you pay me for, this is no indictment of the current Alouette staff at all. This is an owner who clearly is a good guy. We've had him on this show. We've interviewed him. And he basically said, hey, I was watching the Grey Cup, and I said to my buddy Sig, hey, why don't we buy a CFL team? Like, can we say it now? This is a guy that got in. He knows nothing about the industry that he just bought into. Nothing. And he's the CEO and has day-to-day control of the football team? And then in the interview, when I said, well, how do you feel about the future of the Alouettes? Well, my staff tells me we're going in the right direction. Yeah, well, of course they're going to tell you that. Because you don't know the difference. They're BSing you, Gary. Feels like over the weekend he figured that out. That somebody was pulling the wool over his eyes. Can we say it now? So anyways, we'll talk about the games. We'll talk about Bullet Train, the movie, and our Toronto Maple Leafs outlook, because of the team we're going to profile today on the RP Show. This is the warm-up. We'll be right back. You're watching Canada's daytime sports talk show on the Game Plus television network and also YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Blefuscu's army is at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy.
Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
RP Show continues on this Monday. By the way, what's on at the movies this week with Landmark Cinemas? The movie Beast is in theaters now. Idris Elba stars in a pulse-pounding new thriller about a father and his 2 teenage daughters who find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has but one apex predator. Text MOVIES NOW to 902-518-3033 to be entered to win tickets and treats at Landmark Cinemas. Winners picked every week to go to the movies, which I did yesterday. Went and saw the movie Bullet Train, and we'll be reviewing that. I'm going a little out of order, Moose, with my points here. We will get to the CFL Week 8, Week 12 games in a second, but I've got the Toronto Maple Leafs here as our NHL team that we're going to have a look at. Our business people tell me that our ratings skyrocket when we talk Leafs, Blue Jays, and so forth. Go figure. But I don't mind talking about the Leafs. We got Leaf fans on staff. You look already unimpressed with what might come out of my mouth here. I'm not anti-Leaf. What I am is, I know there's enough pro-Leaf out there. They don't need me to even to back them at all, let alone be vanilla on the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'm interested in what you have to say, and maybe Clark can put his thoughts up on the screen. I know that they're coming off their best season ever, right? It's their best regular season ever, 115 points. And the record was 54-21-7. And they go into the playoffs against Tampa Bay in round 1, and it was interesting because people were saying it's unfair that they're playing Tampa. If they hadn't had to play Tampa, they would have got out of round 1. Then they're not one of the best teams, okay? They completely reworked the crease. I get all that. But you're the Leaf guy. So what do you tell me about them moving into this season? Are we expecting more points, less points and a deeper run? What are we looking at for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Honestly, I think more of the same. And I think, when I say that, it's you're going to see a lot of regular season success. The core is still there. The front end is still there. They're going to score a lot of goals. Obviously the question marks are in the crease. They've reworked the crease. Jack Campbell's out. So can they get consistent goaltending? That's going to be number one. The back end was a bit of a question. Can they find another key blue liner? I think they're going to be okay. You may see a move made during the season or up towards the deadline to maybe add a piece to the back end. But they had some cap crunch issues too. So they moved around some salaries, reworked the bottom six a little bit. I think it's the same. I think what you're waiting here with the Leafs is just patience, is when can that core figure it out and get over the hump in the playoffs? Can this be the year? We ask it every year with this team, and eventually they're either going to make it or you're going to have to blow up the core. So they're kind of ride or die with this group.
Well, and that's very similar to what producer Clark says. He writes, if the goalies perform well, the Leafs should be just as good in the regular season as last season. Will they be better in the playoffs? Hard to say at this point. And, sometimes just in sports, we tend to take things for granted. The Leafs return a 100-point team, a well over 100-point team. They're in the mix. There's a lot of teams that can't say that, right? So I appreciate your level-headedness and Clark's as well. Maybe in a month when the NHL preseason games, the significant ones start, you guys might start be going, Stanley Cup, and planning out the route. That's usually how it goes. Bingo. I'll wait a month, but at least they have a shot. By the way, I'll just read this comment here from Jeff in Winnipeg. He says, NCAA football kickoff this week. Woohoo! Well, it did for a lot of our teams, or will, like Alabama kicks off on Thursday, but the NCAA week one regular season actually began this week. Just down the street here at FAU. To be honest with you, I said to Serena, if I had known the Owls were home Saturday night, I probably wouldn't have gone to the Dolphins game. But live and learn. I had such a great time at the Dolphins game, but as I put in my 10 things column, I just stuck my toe in the water of college football. I just tweeted a little bit and almost got sucked right underneath in a good way. The current just, whoo. It's unbelievable how popular college football is. Unbelievable. And go read my column as to the reasons why I think that is, because we're going to move on to what I said earlier, Week 12 in the CFL, because we got to spend some time on that. We got CFL fans from all across the league watching right now. I can see that in the chat. Let's just look at the scores. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers beating the Calgary Stampeders 31-29. However, as we discussed on Friday, Jake Maier, the starting Stamps quarterback, had an efficiency rating of 150, right on the nose, despite the loss. Clearly, he's going to start the Labor Day Classic. Friday night, Toronto beat Hamilton 37-20. Toronto beat Hamilton 37-20. Nobody has given me an adequate explanation as to why Dane Evans played as much in that game as he did. Why? Matthew Schultz comes off his best career game ever the week before in Montreal. But they're playing Dane Evans, and while Schultz was on the field too, it was Dane Evans who threw the pick six, which ended the game. It was a TSN turning point. Why are they pounding the square peg into the round hole of Dane Evans? That's my take on that. Sask beats BC 23-16. Cody Fajardo, he had a better efficiency rating than Jake Maier, 151.6. Fajardo was the guy, to quote his head coach Craig Dickinson, that we all know and love. He had a return to form in the Riders' victory at BC. I talked to Cody last night. He's feeling good. And I love the comments from Mark Tressman, who said last week, Cody was just being honest when he talked about how he felt. He was being transparent. That's what leaders do. And as I say, the good ones do. There's crappy leaders out there too. But Cody's a great leader. Mark Tressman's a great leader. And the Riders are 6-5 and back in the top three playoff picture. And then Ottawa goes into Edmonton 25-18. I don't want to say whom, but a friend of mine, well, a relation of mine, was watching that game, Ottawa-Edmonton, and he said how much he was enjoying watching Jones and the Elks get shellacked. It ended 25-18 for Ottawa, but I think at halftime, I think it was 20-3. That was when I was at the Dolphins game. So Ottawa and Edmonton, it's a turtle race. Nobody really wants to win. Nobody really wants to lose. I don't know. They're the two worst teams in the league. But what we found out is Cody Fajardo is still the Cody Fajardo that we think he is, and Bo Levi's days may be done in Calgary, and people are predicting a trade to the East. What's your take on Week 12 in the CFL?
Yeah, my take comes out of BC, and an unfortunate game for them. Michael O'Connor came in, and I thought he looked pretty good in that opening quarter and a bit, takes the hit, and he gets knocked out. Pipkin came in as the third string quarterback, gets a chance to play, and I thought he looked pretty good. He throws a good ball really fast with some zip on it, moved the ball up the field at times, But if they can't figure it out at quarterback, and if Michael O'Connor can't go, it's going to be tough. It's going to be one of those hang on, because this roller coaster is going to be a bumpy ride here towards the playoffs for BC as you try and hang on to a playoff spot, or potentially, have to really start considering making a move for somebody like a Bo Levi Mitchell or another quarterback out there. So that was my takeaway. I wanted to see more to Michael O'Connor. I wished we got to see more out of him, and I hope he's back soon.
I'm not even going to look ahead to the Week 13 games. Most people know what they are. It's Labor Day weekend, so those are the classic rivalry matchups. And we kicked around the future of Bo Levi Mitchell on Friday on this show at length. I'll just say this again. Do you think he stays there to the end of the season as the number 2 guy? I don't. And it's not an arrogance thing or an ego thing. I just think he's not interested in doing that. If it was me, I would not be interested in being in that role. I would say, Huff, trade me. We've been through a lot together. I've been here a long time. I still want to be part of this. And I would ask for a trade if I was Bo. How do you think it's going to go down?
Yeah, the only reason I think it might not happen is just it's hard to trade, a franchise quarterback like that. And where do you trade him? Do you want to trade him within, the West to a team like BC or Saskatchewan? And if Cody keeps playing well, they're not going to make a move in Saskatchewan. So that leaves kind of one trading partner in the West, and maybe Hamilton's a landing spot out East. I don't think he wants to stay and be the number 2 guy. I wouldn't want to, if I'm Bo. So I'm right on the fence, but I'll lean on your side and say, yeah, I think push comes to shove, he probably finishes the season somewhere else.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, chiming in, he says, no way Bo is traded prior to season's end. That's your opinion, Jeff. As you said the other night, going into the Winnipeg game, you said, what's to say Bo won't play half the game? Or whatever you said. Bo never saw the field. So with all due respect, you have no idea what they're going to do in Calgary. I'm not sure they know what they're going to do in Calgary. They would have spent the weekend probably having meetings on the future of this football team. But I think they can move him because Tommy Stevens saw the field more than Bo Levi did in that game at Winnipeg in short yardage. So I think they'll do what's best for the Calgary Stampeders. And if that means trading Bo, probably out east, because again, why would they help BC? Why would they help Saskatchewan? Trust me, I get it. When I mentioned I dipped my foot into the water on the college football thing, and I got to make it quick here, but does this Gary Stern thing, does it hurt the credibility of the CFL? I think the obvious answer is yes. But I look at FAU, Florida Atlantic University here. I said, I was down at the stadium on Saturday, and I tweeted a photo of it. And an NFL friend of mine goes, oh, they might need you to play at NC State tonight because they're down 20 players. I don't know if you heard that story or not, but it wasn't Florida Atlantic University. It was Florida A&M out of Tallahassee, not Boca Raton. They had and the credibility thing, Darren, I'm asking you, they had 20 players that couldn't play in the game because of they didn't meet eligibility requirements for their Week 1 game. Does that poke a hole in the credibility of the NCAA, or at least the Florida A&M program, that they had to go play the game minus 20 guys, and they got killed at NC State? Does that hurt the credibility as much as the Alouettes, or am I making too big of a deal out of both?
No, it hurts the credibility of the program, not of NCAA football, but of the program. You have that big of a mistake. And then in Montreal, it does hurt the credibility. Owning pro football team at level should be one of the greatest and opportunities that you have as a businessman or businesswoman or business person, right? I mean, ownership, whether it's at the NHL level, the NBA level, the NFL level, especially the NFL level, it doesn't change hands very often. And when an opportunity to own a franchise comes up, I mean, it is vultures to try and get their hands on it because it is a status symbol. It is something, a passion project. And, having an opportunity to own one of very few Canadian Football League teams is a big deal. And unless it's being taken away from him, from Gary Stern, you wouldn't want to let go of this no matter what, because it's such a big deal to own a pro football team. I understand stepping back from day to day. I understand maybe, having somebody else run it. I don't know how much Robert Kraft is running the day-to-day of the New England Patriots. I'm sure he is to a great extent. But to give it up altogether, leave the Board of Governors, and potentially sell your part of the team, unless it's being forced through legally, through, Sid Spiegel's estate, whatever. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
It doesn't look good on the CFL, and I think this is entirely Gary Stern's decision. That's the sense that I get. By the way, our CFL coverage is for Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. I've split the 6th point into 2. 6A, Rory McIlroy is the FedEx Cup champion for the 3rd time. He stormed from a record-tying 6 shots behind Scotty Scheffler to win the Tour Championship and capture the $18 million prize. In 6B, Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout homered, and the LA Angels beat the Toronto Blue Jays 8-3 to complete a 3-game sweep. The Jays have lost 3 in a row now after winning 6 of 7 on the road in New York and Boston. We're going to have to review the movie Bullet Train later when you return, Moose, because we got a break and bring in our guy, Mo Egger. So sit tight, Moose. We'll see you in hour 2.
You got it.
We are going to Cincinnati. And obviously, the WKRP metaphors and comparisons reign supreme. Cincinnati, ESPN 1530, Cincinnati. Mo Egger joins us next from there as we talk some Bengals, football, and AFC. You're watching the RP Show, Canada's daytime sports talk show on the Game Plus television network and YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Blefuscu's army is at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow! I've never had such a welcome.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Brand new week. Cracking the lid on it here on the RP Show. By the way, a sports update coming up. Congratulations to Paula Retto winning the CP Women's Open in Ottawa. But we closed the book on the NFL preseason with 2 games on Sunday, and now it's a long, almost 2-week wait for week 1. But our Bengals insider is Mo Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. Joins us from Cincy to talk about it. Hey, Mo, what's going on, brother? Are you celebrating the Super Bowl already? What are you doing?
Well, we got the defending AFC champs, Rod. We have the defending AAC college football. I watched your show. I had it on. You look like you got the coolest setup ever. I'm off work today. I just got done cutting my grass. I figured I can't be the only person sitting in their basement, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try to replicate your setup. So here I am in my backyard. We're holding on to the last days of summer. We got a cigar. We got a full cold one, Rod. We're having fun here in Cincinnati.
Wow, you are enjoying your day off to the fullest. And I love the fact that cigar is lit. It is actually lit. Yeah.
It's lit, and in a few hours, I will be too.
How about that? Clearly.
I'm doing this on my laptop where it's just told me that it's in danger of overheating, so this could be an adventure.
Oh, I had that happen to me in Edmonton, of all places, a couple of weeks ago. So I might be finishing this myself. Listen, the Bengals preseason. We're going to talk about AFC finishes. 2-1 were the Dolphins, and they're talking about winning the East, being the sneaky surprises in the AFC East. How about the Bengals? How'd they look?
I think if you're a Bengals fan, you and I were together at the Super Bowl, or at least the week leading up to the Super Bowl, and we talked about offensive line and how if they were going to lose to the Rams, it was probably going to be because the offensive line doomed them, and that's exactly what happened. And so, okay, they walked off the field. We flew back from L.A. thinking, okay, the number one this offseason is going to be to address the offensive line. They've done that. They'll have 4 new starters a week from Sunday. They took a kid from North Dakota State in the 4th round of the draft. He apparently has won a competition to be the starting left guard. But their center, right guard, and right tackle, all new players from other teams, La'el Collins, Ted Karras, and Alex Kappa. And so I think you look at it from that standpoint and go, they're going to be better at protecting Joe Burrow. They've gotten through the preseason so far with no major injuries. The team is largely intact. The only real player of consequence they've lost from last year's team is C.J. Uzomah. I think they've done a good job in replacing him with Hayden Hurst, the tight end, who I think from a pass receiving point is going to be able to do a little bit more. And they went really heavy on defense in the draft, and the early returns on Dax Hill, the first-round draft choice from have been really good. So the AFC North is always competitive. AFC, half of the NFL is going to be absolutely loaded. But you've got to consider the Bengals very, very strong contenders to go back to the Super Bowl. It's basically the same team that went last year, except they made their biggest weakness better.
Well, wonderful recap. I'm wondering about Uzomah, though, because just from watching from the outside, you've got a great pulse on, it seems, the locker room in Cincinnati. He seemed to be a great leader, not to mention how tremendous of a player he is. How big of a loss is that to the locker room and team culture?
Yeah, I think he was really big in what Zach Taylor was trying to do to get the culture to what he wanted it to be. But the reality is all of that now revolves around Joe Burrow. And that isn't to diminish CJ's role. He was here when they were really, really bad. He last year was one of the team's really better field goals because he got injured, suffered an Achilles injury in 2020. And yeah, 49 is nothing to sneeze at. He had some big catches in the postseason. So, yeah, his leadership and sort of intangible qualities are ones that they value. But there's 2 things about that. One, I think they like the makeup room independent of C.J. Uzomah. 2, he was going to contract. They're only going to pay so much for what C.J. brought to the table. And I think they viewed him in terms of the production as replacement and the culture where it needs to be. And that 2 things, I think, combine to make C.J. Somewhat expendable.
Okay, week 1, you got the Steelers in there, and it seems like they don't even know who their starting quarterback's going to be. So are you penciling that in as a dub? already, or how do you feel about week 1 against Pittsburgh?
Well, it is the Steelers, and Mike Tomlin's a great coach, and their defense should be really, really good. Now, they went through some injuries this past week in the preseason, how that impacts them in week 1. But look, I mean, the Bengals beat Pittsburgh twice last year. They absolutely blew the brakes off them at what was called Paul Brown Stadium at the time. I don't understand why it wouldn't be Kenny Pickett. If all things are equal, why wouldn't you go with the guy who's got the upside that you chose to invest a first-round pick in? But yeah, the Bengals should win this game. Vegas is telling you they should win this game. They're 7.5-point favorites. That's about what the line should be. They beat this team handily last year. Cincinnati is the defending AFC North and AFC champions. Pittsburgh's coming in. It's going to be absolutely raucous. I don't know anything other than a Bengals win. And if they do lose that game, I think it's problematic because the next one is not going to be easy. You've got to win your home games. You've got to win your games against they're supposed to beat because this team does have a tougher schedule than last year. And so if you have me on the week after the Pittsburgh game and they're 0-1, chances are something has drastically gone wrong.
Okay. Man, it just looks like you're having a great time out there, by the way. And I like to see people having a great time, Mo. So good for you. We are going
what life is
to
all
the
about.
Super Bowl, isn't it? Yes. We only go around
absolutely.
once. So in that vein, are we going to see you at Super Bowl? Because we're going, baby. Are you going no matter what or only if the Bengals are in it?
I'll go no matter what if you take me. Like, do you need an intern? Do you need somebody to, like, lug cables? You need somebody to drive you around Arizona? If the Bengals go, I will be there. There's no getting around that. And if the Bengals go and I am there, 2 things have to happen. 1, you're back on your show. 2, you actually have to show with me. Because I waited all week last year in Los Angeles for a phone call and never got it. So, but yes, if the Bengals are there, I will be there. If the Bengals aren't there, and you just need a chauffeur or somebody to sort of help be your concierge, I'm your guy. I'll bring the cigars.
Absolutely. Well, DuPont Moose is the guy to talk to about that, but there's nobody we'd rather have do that than you. And since you're in Cincy, and because Joey Votto is so important to the Reds. There's a little bit of a debate in Canada and in some U.S. circles. Is this guy Cooperstown worthy? Is he headed to the Baseball Hall of Fame when he's done, do you think?
I think so. I think he's going to get in one day. And I think basically because the electorate is starting to evolve, Tim Raines, Montreal Expo great, got in large part because newer voters who weren't voting when he first hit it, I think valued on-base percentage more than older voters did, and valued some of the ways that advanced metrics would suggest that Tim Raines is a Hall of Famer. And so I vote Joey through a similar lens. The counting stats, the compiling stats, the traditional magic numbers aren't there. He doesn't have 500 home runs. He's probably not going to have 3,000, but he's led the league in on-base percentage 7 times. He's been difficult batters to retire. And so I think younger voters are going to value that. I certainly don't think it's going to be a slam dunk, and it wouldn't surprise me if it takes him a few years to get in. But I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I think younger voters tend to think he's a Hall of Famer. I think what has hurt him and what will hurt him is in the later stages of his career when you're looking to sort of pile on numbers. He hasn't been good this year, and he's basically going to miss the last 2 months because of an injury. He had the shortened 2020 season in which he wasn't very good. And so I think that's going to cost him to a degree. Been elite at something that younger voters value, getting on base for a very long time, and the numbers aren't bad either.
Well, I tell you what, my favorite debate in sports, Mo, is the Hall of Fame debate. And I think you answered it very well. It's not a slam dunk. And even in Canada, in his home in Toronto, there's some debate over Joey because he's declined to represent his country in various international competitions, which they're not happy about. So something about Joey Votto, he just always seems to be a controversial character, but we like those.
Answer
Mo,
this for me really quick. Who would be considered the top 5 Canadian-born Major League Baseball players? You got Larry Walker, right?
Ferguson Jenkins.
Who else do we have?
Terry Poole, Justin Morneau. Clark
Poole.
is just
Joey Votto is better than Terry Poole.
He holds a record for the longest errorless streak of innings in Major League Baseball history, I believe. And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He was a pinch hitter for No. Justin Morneau is very, very good. Joey Votto's top 5 Canadian-born player of all time, right?
Yeah. Yes. He
Okay.
absolutely is.
All right, very good. All right. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Now you got me thinking. Matt Stairs, not a Hall of Famer.
No, Matt Stairs hit one of the longest home runs I've ever seen in person. But no, not a like Joey's top 5. He might not be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he will be and should be. But I mean, he's got to be considered an absolute like slam dunk top 5 Canadian-born baseball player of all time.
No doubt. All right, nice way to end it. Again, Mo, enjoy the rest of your day off, brother. Always good.
All right. Oh, thanks. See ya.
Sports update and viewer takeover coming up next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network. Live streaming at rodpeterson.com and YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
A sports update coming up, but a wonderful discussion has broken out courtesy Mo Egger of ESPN 1530 Cincinnati, who's the top 5 all-time Canadian Major League Baseball players. And Michael Wynn is watching in Winnipeg. What's up, Mike? He says Russell Martin. How about him? Toronto Blue Jays catcher on his resume, of course. But top 5? Don't think so. I think we nailed him. But it's a wonderful debate for sure. Sports update, Paula Retto won the Canadian Pacific Women's Open on Sunday for her first LPGA Tour victory, closing with a 4-under 67 for a one-stroke victory over Nelly Korda and Hai-Jin Choi. The Blue Jays hope to snap out of an untimely funk tonight when they open a 3-game series against the visiting Cubs, losers of 3 straight to the Angels, in which they were shut out twice and outscored 22-3. The Blue Jays must rebound quickly to keep their playoff ambitions alive. Jose Barrios goes to the mound tonight. Unbeaten Canada will have a day off today at the Women's World Hockey Championship in Denmark, but the 3-0 defending champs will get their first real test Tuesday when they play against the unbeaten USA. U.S. playing Switzerland on Monday. This sports update, pardon me, for Edo Japan. Delicious Japanese-inspired meals and snacks made to order with high-quality ingredients. Edo, Japan. I think the one thing, and it is going very well, all the coverage that we spread around is working very well. All the leagues. Hey, I like this. Nelson Hakowicz writing us breaking news. He says Marty Murray has been announced as the general manager of the Brandon Wheat Kings. So the scoop that we got that it was going to be Mike Babcock, fake news. Shame on the guy that told me that. Regarding the all-time greatest Canadian baseball players, Craze32 writes in, he says, Terry Poole. There's no doubt Terry Poole's in the top 5. From Melville Sask. Yeah, no doubt. Jeff in Winnipeg says Eric Gagne. He was with the ski goggles, right? Yeah. Yeah. We'll settle in on it by the end of the week. Top 5. But that's not what the poll question is. Today's poll question is, by the way, for Capital Auto Mall. Universal Collision Center, who is the number 1 player in the NFL by virtue of the NFL Network's Top 100 rating that came out over the weekend. Came out Sunday night, actually. Your options, Tom Brady, Aaron Donald, Aaron Rodgers, or other. Last I looked, Tom Brady was leading the pool. Next hour, the Moose will join us to talk a little more on this and other things. But when I say it's working well, isn't it interesting how sports goes? I had our guy Noogsy, Jamie Neugbauer, the Elliot Friedman of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, do a power rankings, preseason power rankings. It got more response from my Twitter account than any CFL, NHL, or NFL tweet that I'd sent out. Last minute of play in hour 1. Last minute. Just on Junior A preseason power rankings. How about that? So there's that. But then we can kick around the National Football League, too. And as Mo just said, it was awesome. Mo Egger joining us from his backyard. He's like, Rod, we were with you at Super Bowl last year, and we said, this is what the Bengals' problem was, their O-line. And they've got better. So, yeah, we're going back to the Super Bowl. So the fun thing is, between Junior A and the Centennial Cup or the Super Bowl or World Juniors or wherever else, we got it all covered, and people seem to be enjoying it. So we'll kick around the CFL news. Gary Stern stepping down as owner of the Montreal Alouettes. What's that even mean? We'll kick that around with Moose, and the Leafs are our featured NHL team today, as well as we look at NHL teams daily. So that's all coming up in hour 2 on Game Plus.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The Venue at River Cree, bringing you the best in live entertainment. One of the world's most gifted and accomplished ventriloquists, Terry Fader brings his repertoire of comedy, music, and unique impersonations to the Venue at River Cree this September for one night only. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
What's the likeliest landing spot for Bo Levi Mitchell? And I tweeted the options: BC, Saskatchewan, XFL, or other. Still leading the way is other. Can you people tell me where other is? Because I have no idea where he would go other than Saskatchewan, BC, or the XFL and his hometown, Houston Roughnecks.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Rocking and rolling into hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. Welcome to your favorite daytime sports entertainment talk show. We are going to get into the entertainment here. Trust me, we keep pushing things back because we got breaking news on this Monday as we crack the lid on a brand new week. And thank you to Mo Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati for joining us in hour 1. We have Zig Fracassi coming up later on here in hour 2 from SiriusXM NFL Radio. And we welcome back to the program Darren Moose DuPont. And Moose, I'm going to try very much to keep on the rails here and on track. I really appreciate you, I do, for keeping me between the rails and just keeping my head on straight. For instance, the reason I say that is I had mentioned that FAU Stadium is walkable from here. I just ran into it on the weekend. I went for a drive, actually. Yeah. And I was listening to Sports Talk Radio. And I'm like, dude, I could walk to Florida Atlantic Stadium from my... I didn't even know. But you said to me... And then I was at the Dolphins game Saturday. There was a snarl to get there. And you made a good point. You said, you don't need to go to all the games. To the press box, Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, those guys just watch the games on TV and then sit Monday to Friday and talk about it. And I'm like, thank you for the reminder, Darren, that I don't need to be everywhere and be everything. Although having said that, I like to go there's nothing wrong in jumping in the car and going 40 miles down the road, which is how far it is to the Dolphins Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium for me. But if it's walkable to go to FAU, I'm probably going to do that. But it's just fun discovering new things. And as I'm going to read all the text messages because I just opened the 902 line. I'll read them all in a second. Tell the folks what you got going on here in the next month because it's pretty exciting for you too. Speaking of traveling.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. Like it was a lot of fun to be out in the Niagara region, and that was a DuPont Media contract with the the Canada Games, social media and communications and all that fun stuff. But now I get to get back in the booth and the Canada West football season, university sports. We have a television contract, a deal across Western Canada, so I'll be calling those games. And actually, next weekend on Friday, I'll be in Winnipeg for the season opener, Manitoba Bisons and the Regina Rams. So I'm really excited for that to get started, and that'll go right till the early part of November when the Hardy Cup gets handed out.
Right. Now, so what's exciting is we're all over the place with the RP show, and we're growing, and the staff's growing, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. So before I jump into what I wanted to talk about earlier that I've been putting off for a while here, from the text line, 902-518-3033. The number's on the screen. When I was talking about Week 12 in the Canadian Football League, I said, why are they playing Dane Evans? He threw the game-deciding pick six. Jeff is watching in Hamilton, Ontario. Jeff, why? And he says, hey, Rod and Moose, Schultz left the game with an injury. That's the only reason Dane Evans got back onto the field. I suspect we'll begin to see more of Jalen Morton and Jamie Newman as the season goes on. Preferably Newman. I went back and watched his Wake Forest footage. That kid is good. Assuming, of course, Bo Levi Mitchell doesn't join us in the coming weeks, which would be my first choice. So for the Canadian football fans, of which there are many watching, I think the Bo Levi watch is officially on. Does he finish the season with Calgary, or does he get traded prior to the deadline? Because we feel there's no way that he will be finished, or I feel there's no way he'll finish the season. Are you a yes or a no on does Bo finish the season with Calgary?
Yeah, I don't think he finishes the season. I'm with you on that. I don't think
so.
We're
both no. Okay. Brent watching in Regina. No, it's actually Olivia. I'm sorry. There's a lot of messages have come in here. Olivia says, "Go Rod." Where? She says, "Go Rod. Love the show."
How about that?
And then types movies. Thanks, Olivia. So if you guys want to go into the text line for the contest, do that. Have you had the opportunity to watch Bullet Train, the movie, yet?
Oh, I haven't, but I'm going to be near a Landmark Cinema next weekend when I get back from Winnipeg, and I'll be all alone for a few days, and I'm probably going to go to 4 or 5 different movies. But I'm curious for your review of it.
Okay, so we went to it yesterday. And here's my take. It was an interesting movie. It stars Brad Pitt. So right there, you think it's a winner, right? You automatically think it's a winner.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again, if I'm being honest, which is what you pay me for and why I'm sitting here with the microphone, it's to be honest, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. 4 thumbs out of 10.
Ooh.
Bullet Train. Filmed entirely in Japan, but you don't need to because it was on a train. I'm like, you're not really shooting the budget here on travel, because it was all on a train for the most part. It was a lot of, it was a drama, it was a comedy, it was sci-fi. There was some really wonderful life lessons in there. There's some things that I really enjoyed that I live by. One is every single thing that happens in your life has led you to the moment of where you are right now. And it's all our conscious decisions as to why we're there. So that part was really cool. I like that. But I'll just say, Darren, when you are Googling in the movie theater, what is the running time of blank, which is 2 hours and 6 minutes for Bullet Train, it's gone too long. So my friends were asking me, how was the movie? And I'm like, it was okay, but it was 40 minutes too long. So if you're going to Bullet Train, pack a lunch. So I'm not going to say it's bad, and Brad Pitt was really good in it. And Derek Dennis's twin plays one of the starring roles. So there's my review of Bullet Train for Landmark Cinemas. I'm not going to say don't go, but it's 40 minutes too long. So would you still go after that review, Moose?
You know what? I will, because I'm a guy who wants to check out all the movies. But, I'm with you on that. Movies used to be all, 90 minutes to 100 minutes, kind of an hour and a half, hour 40, hour 45. And if you were over 2 hours, this was a cinematic masterpiece, right? I mean, remember the Titanic was 2 VHS tapes. It was almost 3 hours. It was very rare that a movie was over 2 hours, but you know that you were going to strap in and it was going to be something that was going to be up for an award. This feels more like a popcorn flick when I watch the trailers, right? And the movie, I want to go have some laughs, a little bit of action, bing in, bing out. It's not going to be up for an award, but it'll be entertaining, and it should be about 90 minutes. So the fact that it's 2 hours long, that's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, I would say go. It was funny in parts, but it was too long. So back on point. Sean in Vancouver writes and he says, I like Moose's fan hat today. I don't know exactly what does that mean. Maybe he likes your shirt.
I think he's talking about
fan hat? Oh, I see. The fan over your head. Yeah, right, don't turn that thing on, man. You're going to get a haircut. Sean, I can't even. People, please proofread your messages before you send them. Regarding the breaking news today that Gary Stern is stepping down, I'd have to go and look at what the exact notification was from TSN, but the owner of the Montreal Alouettes stepping away from the team from day-to-day operations. I don't even really know what this means. And I am an Alouettes fan, believe me, I am. What did Gary Stern say when he came on this show? He said, Rod, somebody with this, the Alouettes must really love you because this is interrupting my daily routine to come on your show. And I know who that is, Francis Dupont, whom I love. I assume that's who he was referring to, but Gary stepped away. We don't know what this means. So Wilf is watching in Steinbach, Manitoba, and he says, hi, Gary Stern could see money going down the toilet, along with little success on the field. The Alouettes need Jim Pop. Look, they do, but didn't they get close to a sellout for last week? They beat Hamilton. And they're coming off a bye. Isn't that interesting? Montreal didn't play last week. So what went down in the bye that coming out of the weekend, the owner's going to go, I'm out. And listen, as I said last hour, there aren't that many people, there aren't that many owners involved in day-to-day operations of any sports team. And if they are, they shouldn't be. Unless your name's Mario Lemieux and you're the owner and an ex-player, right? Or Tom Brady, who inevitably one day will be an owner of the Miami Dolphins because they just can't get it out of their head. I was at the luxury suite the other night, Moose, and in the suite and around the suite, everybody, Tom Brady. It's all they talk about, man. How many times have I said it? I'm like, he doesn't play here. They're obsessed with Tom Brady in South Florida, which I understand everybody is. But my God, he doesn't play her. But you know what I'm saying? If you're the owner of a sports team, because you didn't make your millions or billions being the owner of a sports team, stay the hell out and leave it to the people that know what they're doing. And that's kind of my read of Gary. Again, it's the breaking news of the day. What is your read on Gary Stern stepping down and away from the team as owner of the Montreal Alouettes?
I appreciate the texter, but there's no way that attendance this season, play on the field this season has anything to do with him stepping away from the team. Like nothing. Because, business people don't react to those micro things that happen in the micro, right? You have to take care of those and try and make sure you're growing forward. But they make decisions based on the macro, the big, the long-term picture. If this was a trend and, he saw no recovery, he'd make a decision. But they don't make rash decisions like this, especially to pack up the keys and leave. You think the owner of Walmart, they have one bad day of sales or, a fire in the store, as our, Director Jordan would be familiar with. They don't pack up and drop the keys off and say, I'm out because of one bad day or one bad year. There's much more to this, and it's an interesting story I'm sure we're going to hear about for a while.
For the most part, they don't. But, I get this. Yeah. Somebody said we're sad to see Gary go from the viewers. And I think we would all agree with that. He was what the CFL needed, but now he's gone. And then there's his Twitter account deactivated. And listen up, folks, which I know a lot of you aren't going to hear this, but the important people will. And I believe, we passed the 111 mark, but that's okay. Why the coaches and the players, and to a certain extent some broadcasters, all have a mutual respect for each other is we need to be in front of the camera every GD day. Every day. I look at Chris Jones, I look at Cody Fajardo, just friends of mine. As I said, I talked to Cody last night. Mark Trestman weighing in on the struggles Fajardo's going through. We can't hide. But the presidents, the owners, the CEOs, in a lot of ways, they hide. They run away. Gary Stern deactivating his Twitter account. Who does that? I love him from what I know of him. I've never met him face to face, but I just see it so many times. A lot of owners and executives don't face the damn music. And there's a lot of us that don't have the luxury of being able to do that. And that's why I think that there's a lot of respect amongst those that are on the front lines every day. And I'm going to end up going on a huge rant here. But I just know guys that on their way out of town, being fired, have sat in the owner's office or the president's office and said, I'm not obviously going to name names, but they're like, if you would get off your ass and go down to the front lines and talk to your people, you might have an idea what's going on here with your own franchise. And you don't even know, and you're firing me? That's just an imitation. I don't know why I'm getting so upset.
No,
but
I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when there's situations like this and he just drops it and the Twitter account's gone and everything else, you can have no expectation other than for all of us in the media, all of your fans and everybody around the league to just ask questions. So you wonder what happened, right? What happened that he just up and quit and dropped the keys off and shut it down and left? What happened? If all of a sudden you wake up and your neighbor's house is for sale, the blinds are shut, the cars are gone, and there's just tumbleweeds rolling in the driveway, you'd wonder what happened. Didn't even see them packing up. There was no goodbye. There was no farewell party. There was no, hey, I'm leaving this in good hands. No message to the team. We left in the middle of the night after, being out and about and on Twitter all weekend. So there's going to be a lot of questions.
Yeah. Hey, John in Winnipeg has shown up. John, and he says, great rant, Rod. Rant on. Well, all I'll say, I said it last week and I'll say it again. It's not for the faint of heart. My advisors have said to me that you've gone through some unbelievably tumultuous situations in your life and you've had to do them in front of all of the public. But the reward for you is it's made you incredibly strong and you're never going to have to go through them again. So, and that's the same for anybody that's in public life. It's not just me. I'm not sitting here whining, but that's why we have a kinship amongst each other. Yeah, I'll stop there. Don, our Navy friend, writes in and he says, I saw a graphic that the CFL outperforms the MLS, but is undervalued by Canadian media. It just proves my point that Canadian media companies will value U.S.-based leagues over Canadian-based leagues. Yes, in a way, and I don't really want to go down that road per se right now, Don, but who are we blaming here? I blame the Canadian viewers. The TV networks are a pain in the ass in a lot of ways with what they put on, but people aren't watching Canadian university sports. If they were watching it, there'd be more of an appetite for the networks to carry it, or they can't sell it, right? So, do you know what I'm saying, Gary? I know we're kind of out of time for this. As a matter of fact, we are.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about this. More on the Leafs because they're our featured team today. They want to talk about movies, and I get it. Some aren't agreeing with my assessment of Bullet Train, giving it a 4 out of 10 thumbs. How about that? Zig Fracassi is on the way as well from a SiriusXM NFL Radio. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television and YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Blefuscu's army is at the city walls!
The Man Mountain will return to solve all our gigantic problems. Only the great Gulliver can handle them.
It happened! The real Gulliver is back! The giant is in the city! He is right in the square!
Wow. I've never had such a welcome.
The venue at River Cree, bringing you the best in live entertainment. One of the world's most gifted and accomplished ventriloquists, Terry Fader brings his repertoire of comedy, music, and unique impersonations to the venue at River Cree this September for one night only. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
We're back. It's a Monday, and it is your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. Well, at least it's my favorite anyways. And the Moose is here, and can we bring him in? There's so much going on today. There's breaking news that a lot of folks want to talk about, and it is the Montreal Alouettes owner Gary Stern walking away from the team. We talked a little college football, and little Timmy, writing us on Twitter, says, I won't lie, I'm almost more excited for college football this year than I am the CFL. There is something about seeing these kids get excited and some go pro. And hell, even Vandy won a game this season already. So interesting there. We're going to morph. It's always fun when we morph topics, Moose. I said somebody didn't like my review of Bullet Train. Serena and I went to the movie yesterday, Bullet Train. Chris Jarl is watching in Surrey, BC. Chris says Bullet Train was better than Maverick. At least it was an original story.
Hot take.
Should I, or do you want to tear him apart for saying that?
I almost want to delete him from my text group.
Spicy.
I won't, because we're all entitled to our opinion here. But how dare you?
Moose has gone 3 times. I said Moose has gone 3 times.
Yes. Yes.
So anyways, let me just get to the story.
Talk about Tom Cruise that way.
No, I know. And let me just try to what did I tell you, Moose? Keep me on track here. Because squirrels are running all over the place. I go into the theater. I'm wearing a Saskatchewan Roughriders ball cap on Sunday to go watch Bullet Train. because Landmark Cinemas sponsors our show. And the guy behind me is like, Saskatchewan, huh? And I turned and I said, yeah, you know it? And he goes, I used to be on a golf tour up there, and we didn't go into Canada, but we went to Montana, and Doug Flutie's still a big deal up there? It's always a wonderful conversation starter, right? The CFL. It is. And I turned and I said, well, not really, but he's still regarded as the greatest player that's ever played in the CFL, or at least I regard him as the best player that ever played in the CFL. And then we get talking, and I didn't even tell you, I didn't say this on the air, but I told you on the phone. Just on the CFL vein, when I was in the luxury suite with those Dolphins players' families on Saturday night, I bought my ticket, and there were 15 other people there that were all part of families. This lady came up to me. She's like, my daughters want to know, what are those championship rings you have on? I said, well, they're Grey Cup rings. So then they're like, hey, would you take them off? And sure, we're showing them around. And this guy goes, Saskatchewan? You're with Saskatchewan? I said, yeah. He goes, Kevin Francis. He played there. I said, Kevin Francis played at NCA&T. I know Kevin. Really funny guy. Really tall guy. And then we get talking, and I'm like, how I got off on this tangent, I don't know. But again, it is also a very wonderful conversation starter. And Terry Carrier, watching on YouTube, says, I know movies seem to be getting long. I went to the Elvis movie. After 2 hours, I was kind of like, geez, is he dead yet? Making jokes about Elvis's death? Man, we got a couple people who might get banned here. But when I said if you're going to a movie and you have to look at your watch or Google what's the running time of this movie, it's an indication of how the movie's going. Was Elvis over 2 hours? Because I went to Elvis and I'm like, this is unbelievable. I never looked at my watch once. Didn't I go with you?
Yeah, you did.
And
Elvis
right?
is one of those movies, that might be up for an award, right? It's one of those movies that you would expect to be over 2 hours. And to be honest, the other one we went to in theaters was The Batman with Robert Pattinson, him as the Batman. And I expected that to be over 2 hours. That's one of the big cinematic masterpieces, and it was good. But I remember in that movie, I had to look at my phone and like, what time is it? Like, this movie has gone on too long. It was about 45 minutes longer than it needed to be. And that was a pretty good movie for the most part.
I want to go to Elvis again, and probably will. Oh, you got to go to Elvis. If that's the one movie. Elvis was my pick, Mavericks Moose's pick for the flicks of the year, both available at Landmark Cinemas, of course, and thanks for coming to our TED Talk. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says we are all entitled to our opinions, but as we saw earlier, the host might mock it. I think Jeff, the Stamps fan, needs his own show. But he was the guy that said, there's no way Bo gets traded by the end of the year. Let's just put that on the back burner and let it percolate. Let it simmer for a while. Not percolate. Let it simmer for a while, the Bo thing. Because we're not going to know until at least the trade deadline when that is. Do you know when I have not found out when the trade deadline is. Have you?
No, haven't figured it out.
Somebody want to tell us when the trade deadline is? Oh, and by the way, I discovered my point. It just took me 5 minutes to get to it. With these owners, and I understand that they own, and you're an owner. I don't put you in that group of some of these owners, Darren. People get very upset that the Super Bowl gets presented to the owner first. I get it. Without owners, we'd have no sports, period. But the guy in the movie theater here in Boca Raton didn't ask me about Bruce McNall. He asked me about Doug Flutie. It's the players. And I get so tired of the players getting shafted. Very tired of the players getting shafted. So, do you know what I'm saying? Does anybody ever bring up the owner? Ever. But that pisses the owners off. Believe me, it does. Because they're like, I own this thing. How come they're not talking about me? I've had that happen. And I'm like, you've got all the money. You need the fame too? Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
That's what you get as the owner. You get the money if you win, or you don't get any if you don't win, and you're not very good at business. That's just literally how it works. And I mean, there are two that get enough of the fame, and that's Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. Robert Kraft because he wins, and they were very successful. and Jerry Jones because he's Jerry and he loves to be in front of the camera and he makes himself, known. He's also the general manager of the franchise as well. So there's that. But yeah, for the most part, nobody's asking about the owners. Nobody's paying attention to the owners. They don't show up on the documentaries. They're not in the highlight reels.
No.
It's all the players and the coaches to an extent.
And the broadcasters. But it really ticks the owners off. Believe me, it does. John Ohm in Calgary, or Winnipeg, says, what gets all shook up and comes on your salad? Elvis Parsley.
Hot damn!
That's pretty good.
Terry, regarding the Elvis commentary, the movie, Terry Carrier says, sorry, too soon, I guess. Too soon. Yes, he died in 1977. It's too soon. Don't mock deaths about the king. Ryan, can everybody write this down and pin it? Ryan in Toronto says it looks like the CFL trade deadline is October 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Can we pin that? Don't forget that, Moose, because how many times we bring it up like every day and we never knew when it was.
We do.
Right?
October 5th, and that gives us a really good timeline now. And it gives, Calgary, Hamilton, BC, and Saskatchewan time to figure it out, right? I mean, you still got another month. And, if Cody keeps it going for a month, or if he doesn't, you're going to lean one way or the other. Same thing in Calgary, and especially in BC. You've got a month to figure out if Michael O'Connor's your guy, if Antonio Pipkin's your guy. It's a lot of time.
I'm smiling because obviously my mind, several things are flashing through my mind as we go here. I opened up the text line. Let's get some new comments in. 902-518-3033. The number will be flashed on the screen momentarily. 902-518-3033. Let's hear from you. Whatever you'd like to talk about, but I do want to say this. I'm very grateful for the things that have happened in my life that have gotten me to this point. I auditioned for something, as you know, over the weekend, something that would have been complementary to what we're doing here. I'm not going to say any more than what it was because I was informed yesterday, this is what they said, you're too Canadian for us. And I'm like,
how about that?
Thank you. That was the criticism. They're like, we're not going to bring you on because you're too Canadian. And the guy also said, you do a lot of what I do, and there's only room for one of us, and that's me. So that's a direct quote. He's probably watching right now. So I wasn't offended, but the thing is, you're too Canadian. A lot of people would say, well, how can I change? Even you said that. You're like, well, did you say, what do you need? What could I change? I'm like, no, I'm not going to change. But I don't think a lot of people would do that.
Yeah, and I admire the authentic nature, right? Sorry, I got a big sneeze, came. First time that's happened on the air. Thank you. But no, I mean, you're true to yourself, and I like that. That's cool too.
You're too Canadian. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
It reminds me of when TSN did offer me that job, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but they said, well, you're in Saskatchewan. You must be dying to get out of there. I'm like, the hell's that supposed to mean? Just piss me off. Jason in Red Deer watching says, your response on being too Canadian was probably, sorry. Basically. But don't make any apologies for that either. Stacy watching from Access World Headquarters, Access TV. Stacy watching says, CFL Trade Center on the RP show. Don't think so. Wouldn't that be something, hey?
Yeah. It would be okay, but we'd be sitting around talking about a lot of nothing.
That happens a lot on the NHL Trade Center where there's actual trades.
True.
We've often, look, in 20 years covering the Canadian Football League, and that the only trade that I can ever remember that didn't even seem like a huge significance at the time was the Calgary Stampeders trading kicker Tyler Crapigna to Saskatchewan for Jerome Messam, and that was in 2015. And it ended up being a really big deal. Messam's contract was expiring. All the Rider Nation was upset. that they got rid of Messam, and it's like he had an expiring contract. It's 2015. We're going to be 3-15. And Tyler Capini ended up kicking for the Riders for 2 to 3 years, ended up replacing Darian Durant. So it was a good trade, but and then there was a Kevin Glenn trade. And every time Kevin Glenn got traded, that was somewhat significant. It was kind of a, what do you call it, a yard mark in his career for Kevin Glenn. But other than that, not any particularly significant trades in CFL history. BW in Edmonton says, I'm late getting in, but never change, Rod. Thanks for saying that, but I ain't going to. Not at this stage of the game. Things are actually getting better, not worse. Before I let you go, do you have anything that you would like me to ask Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio? He's coming up.
Boy, I'd like to know what his most interesting storylines are heading into the season. There's the obvious ones, but I'd like to see what jumps off the page for Zig in terms of storylines coming into the season. We know about the Baker storyline, and can Tom win one more, and some quarterback battles like in Seattle. But what's on Zig's mind? I'm curious.
I will. That reminds me, so the poll question, let's put that up for a second for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is, who is the NFL's number one player? The top 3 from the NFL Network survey, the player survey, which came down Sunday night, were Tom Brady, Aaron Donald, and Aaron Rodgers, in that order. And that's our poll question. Which one of those do you feel is the best, or somebody else? And you've got 23 hours-ish to vote on that poll, but Tom Brady is leading the poll. And we're going to have to break. I'd love to talk about that more. Maybe in overtime when you come back. I'll answer one more question. Ryan in Toronto says, was it a trade when the Argos stole Ricky Ray? I can't recall how that even happened. That was an off-season trade. I've had a lot of friends that were working for the Eskimos at the time, and they were like, we just did what? It was an off-season trade. I want to say February, but it wasn't a trade deadline deal. So Moose. I've called you Mo twice now. Mo Egger was in hour 1. We'll see you back here for overtime, okay?
You bet.
Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network and YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Brand new week on the RP Show. The only game of record tonight, Major League Baseball, that we have on our radar is the Blue Jays home to the Cubs. Jays trying to snap a 3-game slide. The NFL preseason concluded on Sunday. Now a long 2-week wait, or close to 2 weeks, till we kick it off in week 1. Let's open it up there with Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio, one of our good friends, joining us today from, I believe, New Jersey. How you doing, Ziggy?
What's going on, my friend? How you been?
Oh, I'm wonderful, dude. Hey, I had a front row seat for Tua to Tyreek on Saturday night, 51 yards. Who saw that coming, man? Let's open there. What'd you think of that, Zig?
You had to be impressed if you were a Dolphins fan. There's no doubt about it. You know, he's obviously one of the big storylines to come through this season. Tua to Tyreek, will they be able to, be that electric connection that the Dolphins haven't had? So it was quite encouraging to see. Again, it's preseason, but if Tua does anything, I think the Dolphins are in the mix for a playoff spot this year.
Oh, are they excited here in South Florida? And Tom Brady's name continues to be on the fans' lips, even in Hard Rock Stadium. But I want to ask you this. This is what I meant to lead with. Tom Brady named the number 1 player by the NFL players in the NFL Network poll of the top 100. Do you go along with that? Tom's the best player at age 45, or was that a popularity contest?
It might be, but obviously the guy is the greatest winner of all time. He still has a drive for the game. Now, within the last 6 months, there's been the retirement, the unretirement, now this leave, Rod. So it makes you wonder, is this becoming a little bit too much of a distraction? In other words, because he's considered the greatest, is it really, acceptable behavior? I guess so, because the Bucs went ahead with this, and now he even said after the game the other night that he still has blank to deal with. So whatever that means remains to be seen. But just in terms of a popularity thing, maybe. But again, he's the greatest winner of all time. If it's me, I might have put Aaron Donald, even though when he's not swinging Bengals helmets at anybody at practice the other day, he might still be the top player in the league.
Well, that reminds me. I'm looking at viewer comments. Anything you got for Zig, folks? Fire away. Every training camp, we hear of a fight or brawl in some camp, and usually involving joint practices. Why is it always such a big deal every year? And by the way, Zig, the coaches always downplay it, which doesn't surprise me.
No, because I think there is sort of a motivating factor there to sort of get your lather up. And I mean, let's face it, Rod, these are the teams that opposed each other in the last Super Bowl. It turned out to be a terrific ball game. But, just on a side note with that, I know the NFL can't basically come down with any type of punishment on Aaron Donald, although I think they could strongly suggest it. I'll be curious to see what happens. Do I see a suspension for the opener against the Bills? I do not, but Again, that's reckless behavior. And I know it's a scrimmage. When you're swinging a weapon around like that, it's highly dangerous. So I kind of get tired of the boys are being boys type of thing. If something like that happened, I think the league should act swiftly if they wanted to deal with any type of punishment.
You know, I talk about coming out of the preseason here, the 3-game preseason now, Zay. What do you see a change in the way business is done in the NFL in that most of the jobs were predetermined? I don't hear as many stories that, tonight we'll decide who's the starting quarterback or who's our number one receiver or who's our starting right tackle. It seems like they know that. And that never used to be the case in the National Football League.
No, not at all. And again, that's changed a lot because of the salary cap era. I think now, Rod, what we're looking at is a scenario, well, who's this going to be the team's, 6th or 7th defensive back? Who's going to be the rotational tackle? Who's gonna handle the punt or kick return duty? So it's not like you say back when, I can remember, for years, late 70s, early 80s with the Jets, for example. Was it going to be Richard Todd or Matt Robinson, the starting quarterback? We do have that in Pittsburgh, although I think the indications now it's probably going to be Trubisky, but you don't have as much of it like you used to.
Yeah, well, Mo Egger was on with us last hour. I'm not sure if you've ever had a chance to break bread with Mo or met him from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. He thinks they should go with Kenny Pickett. The Steelers going into Cincy in week 1. I've been watching ESPN all morning, and they're saying, no, go with Trubisky. He's the vet. We got a long time to groom Pickett. So they don't know. And what did Mike Tomlin say? We'll make it at our convenience, the decision. Who do you think starts in week 1?
I would say it's Trubisky just because he's got, the veteran starting experience. I mean, they did get to the playoffs a couple times, Rod, during his time in Chicago. I think ideally, long-term, Pickett is the guy, but we've seen in other scenarios, you go back to Green Bay. There was that dust-up last year, the controversy with Rodgers and Love. The fact is, Green Bay wants to nurture Jordan Love like they did Aaron Rodgers back in the day when he ultimately took over for Favre. So I think, long answer to your question, it'll probably be Trubisky, although I think Pickett, does he see a little game action this year? That remains to be seen, and I think Mason Rudolph may be one of those guys that tries to find another job on a different NFL roster.
It's a wonderful answer, not a long one. And by the way, from our viewers, here they come. Ted in Red Deer, Alberta wants to know what your expectations are for Trey Lance this year.
Ted, that's an outstanding question. The 49ers have made their bed with Trey Lance. I mean, they gave up an awful lot to get him, and they've already moved on from Jimmy G as much. So there, I heard the last segment you were talking about some interesting storylines that may not be so obvious. One of those is what do they ultimately do with Jimmy Garoppolo? Is it one of those things if the Niners start 1-4, 1-5, you somehow keep Jimmy G around, or do you let him go? You run the risk that maybe Seattle picks him up in a waiver claim, that type of thing. I saw, I guess, bits and pieces of some good things from Trey Lance this offseason, Rod, but it's clear the 49ers now have made their bed with him. So what they're going to hope to have is ultimately a good, deep ground game. And, of course, the defense is still one of the NFL's very best. And at least early in his career, you probably want Trey Lance to be more of a game manager. That's kind of a, ugly term, but it is what it is until he gets more familiarity and comfortability in the play calling and also, the execution of those plays. So the answer to your question, I would definitely say there is a lot expected. 49ers are probably going to have to win a lot of games this year just on the defense alone.
Well, hey, you take a quarterback that high, you're going to put him in this position. What I'm told is that next week, Garoppolo's due a $26 million bonus, and that's why nobody's wanted to trade for him. Is that story correct as far as you know? That's the fact?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a... No, all I was going to say is, you're going to be able to, you got to have a team, Rod, to be able to take on, that kind of a salary, and also How is his shoulder? Is he 100% coming back from that injury?
Wayne in British Columbia wants to know, hey, Zig, how do you think Russell Wilson will do in Denver?
Ooh, that's a good question, Wayne. Broncos are definitely hoping that he does well because they gave up the ranch to get him in that trade with Seattle. Didn't play at all during the preseason, but you look at the Broncos, obviously some promising young backs that they have there. Of course, Cortland Sutton, a nice receiving core. Albert O, an emerging young tight end, because I would butcher his last name if I tried to pronounce it. But he brings some instant credibility there to the Denver Broncos. He knows a lot's expected of him. And for the new ownership group there in Denver, they haven't been able to replace Peyton Manning, to be perfectly honest with you. So hopefully now Russell's that guy. He's in the prime of his career, Rod. And, the Broncos, a lot of expectation in which should be a ridiculously competitive AFC West this year.
Mm-hmm. Who's going to win it? Who's going to win the division?
I'm still sticking with Kansas City. They have the best coach in the division, the best quarterback in the division. And I, for one, think the subtraction of Tyreek Hill will actually turn out to be beneficial. There's going to be more balls going around for other guys here. Scantling, obviously added from Green Bay. Juju Smith-Schuster. You already got Kelsey there. I think you're going to see Mecole Hardman play a bigger role in this offense. I think they try to run the ball a little bit more than they have over the years. So to me, it's airtight. But again, with the Chargers, too many mistakes in the past. I got to see that eliminated and Herbert to take that next step. Raiders probably are the stiffest of the competition for them. And with Denver, I think they'll be better. Do I think with Russell Wilson they win the AFC West? Probably not. That's why I lean towards Kansas City.
Zig, it's so wonderful to hear your voice. I've brought my satellite radio with me down here to South Florida. What's your schedule this week so I know to tune in?
Well, appreciate that as always, Rod. Of course, we're 2 to 6 Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. This is basically the last sort of weekend of that schedule. And then once the season starts, I'll be on with Todd Haley on Saturdays, probably 5 to 8 Eastern time. And then after Sunday Night Football, Channel 88, and of course the SiriusXM app. And of course, you can hear my sports updates Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on our platform of channels.
I love it. Ziggy, thanks for the time, man. Enjoy the ball.
All right, my brother. Be good, okay?
Always, always. Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. The Moose rejoins us for overtime right after this. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network and YouTube Live.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Mornings just got better at River Cree. For a limited time, enjoy a summer sunrise breakfast for just $1.99. Choose from 2 eggs any style, a breakfast sandwich, or pancakes. Finally, a delicious reason to wake up early. $1.99 breakfast daily at Tap 25 at the River Cree.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Landmark Extras Rewards members get $6.99 general admission tickets. Any movie, any showtime. August 26th to September 8th. Become an Extras member now at landmarkextras.com to get your $6.99 tickets and enjoy a more rewarding movie-going experience.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445. Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Okay, we got the Moose with us. And here we go. It is overtime. It's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Football League. How you doing, Governor?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Good. Are you in on that meeting we have this afternoon at 1 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. ours? Or is it just our...
I will be on.
Is it just us?
I'll be on for the first little bit of it. You bet. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate the guys from a podcast who just reached out and asked me if I would be willing to come on their podcast to preview the NFL season. And I just kind of laugh because I think I'll be honest with you, it was an NFL entity that I auditioned for over the weekend, and the guys that said, "You're too Canadian for us, but thanks." And now these guys from the podcast, like, "Will you come on and talk NFL?" It's for me, it was like, here we go. I have to do this on my own again. And that's okay, right? And it just reminds me of when I had the tour of the SiriusXM studios in downtown New York, in Manhattan. And I know you've heard the story, and I got to say it again. It's so much fun. I wish you were with me. Someday, Moose, you got to start traveling with me, man. So Zig Fracassi is taking me all around the SiriusXM studios. And we hung our head in the NFL Network radio studio, and Howard David was sitting there. Howard David. And he was hosting the afternoon show on NFL radio. And I'll never... You can tell that Zig, obviously, is a good friend of mine, right? So Zig's like, Howard, This is my friend Rod Pedersen. He's from Canada, and he's the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Howard was the voice of Monday Night Football. And Howard David goes, and Sunday Night Football, and the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. And I didn't care. I'm like, Howard, can I get a photo? And he's like, if you must. It was so great. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life.
Reminds me.
Huh?
Howard Cosell, man. It's Howard Cosell type guy, and it makes me want to watch that movie again when you do the imitation. I love it.
Monday Night Mayhem. Yes, but my point was I've been around approximately 1 million grumpy old radio guys in my life. So for Howard David to go, if you must, I didn't care. I'm like, get out of the way. I'm taking a photo. So it's just so darn much fun. Oh, so I can handle these NFL questions. Like Jeff in Hamilton wanted me to ask Zig, but you and I will handle it, Moose. He says, if the Lions, Detroit, went 17-0, yes, I know how it sounds, would they be the only team to have both winless and lossless seasons? Well, of course, Jeff, you should know that. There's only been one team that's ever had a winning undefeated season. It's the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, the Patriots in the regular season. But nobody else has had the losing season. I believe it's only the Lions that have ever gone winless. The Detroit Lions aren't going 17-0. But, like, oh my goodness, Darren, like, it is an unending buffet of NFL talk. It's just insane. Why is it that way?
Well, you think, first of all, how we can get so much juice out of the CFL with 9 teams. Imagine when you got, 30 of them. It's insane. There's so many different storylines and topics, and you think of the number, just the sheer volume of players that come through the National Football League. It's, obviously it's over 3 times what you've had through the Canadian Football League. Even though the Canadian Football League's been around 100 years, it's just the number of teams and players and cities that they're involved in.
Stephen in North Dakota watching says, I'm cleaning truck windows in sunny Minot, North Dakota. Still can't see any other CFL coverage from here. Keep the greatness going, RP Show. That's the point. Although we've decided to pivot a little bit and go more NFL, more college, more NHL, there's still nobody talking as much CFL as us. And similar to the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, yeah, we put out a tweet for the top 12 power rankings in the SJ. Who else is doing that? From one tweet, it had mondo reaction. Grant, watching on Game Plus TV in Kelowna, BC, says, he quotes TSN saying to me, you must be dying to get out of Saskatchewan. How rude. TSN stands for Toronto Sports Network. Well, Grant, you're in Kelowna, so I feel like you might have left at some point. Let me know. Moose, see you tomorrow.
Great job. You bet.
Hey, all the rest of you. See you tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on Game Plus TV.
Who has more fun than us?
Bingo! Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.